Oh, sikit. Okay, nice. You want guys?
Hey, by the way, what are you guys doing?
Oh, we have been reading about a factor influence demand house in Malaysia.
Oh, that sounds so interesting.
Yes, this topic is really interesting if you guys want to know. This is about the demand of the house, and we doesn't read the detail about this. So as I said, why don't we discuss about this together? It will be more fun, right?
Yes, I strongly agree with you. And you guys, are you agree?
Yes, I agree. Yes, I agree.
Okay, come on.
So let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Before we go more further, I would like to introduce to you about the definition of demand. Basically, demand is a quantity of goods and service that consumer is willing and able to purchase in a given price at a period of time. It is influenced by factors such as price, consumer choice, income level, and availability of substitutes. Demand is usually represented graphically as a downward sloping curve, indicating that as the price of product decrease, the quantity the demand also increase, and vice versa. So in easy way, if the price of product decrease, the quantity demand will be increased and vice versa. And if the price of product increase, the quantity demand for that product decrease, and vice versa. We state only two main factors, which is income level and consumer expectation of future price. For income level, if someone have more money, have a more high income, they will get to buy a good necessary and more necessary. So for the consumer expectation of future, in logic way, if Prime Minister announced that the price of sugar will increase in next month, more people will buy the sugar this month and make the demand increase, right? So this is the basic things about income level and consumer expectation definition. Oh, by the way, demand can include various aspects. For example, demand of car, raw goods, house, and more. I would like to focus in demand for houses in Malaysia. More details are the factors influencing demand for houses in Malaysia. Basically, house is a structure designed for human habitation, providing shelter, security, and a place for personal and social activities. So, for this discussion, I would like to include that we will discuss about the factors influence demand for houses as the main things, and the impact of price increase from house in Malaysia, and last thing is issue with government policy, more detail. So, we will start right now.
As we have heard, Afif has introduced to us what is demand. So I will introduce to you all about the factors that influence demand for houses in Malaysia.
So for my first point, which is the first factors that influence demand in Malaysia is income. So income have many different levels, but today we will only differentiate it into two levels, which is the first one is the higher level incomes, and the second one is the lower level incomes. So, income have natural relationship with demand, which means increasing in income also increasing in demand. So why is it increasing? So we have to know that the higher level income for an individual, the higher purchasing power they get, which is they can buy a lot of house, or they can make a loan with the banks or mortgage, and the banks will approve it with the history of their income. So for the lower level income, this is vice versa, which is they didn't have much power in purchasing or make loan for a property or for a house. So for the demand for the lower level income is lower. So this is the statements or the proof that shows that the increasing in income will also increase in demand. So hello, we will move to the next factors, which is the factors is location. So what we know about locations? Location also differentiates into two areas, which is the first one is urban areas and the second one is rural areas. So if you do not know what is urban areas and what is rural areas, I will explain to you one by one. So, urban areas is an areas or a region that is developing, which is it has many buildings or many business that's going around in the areas. Example, in Malaysia we have Kuala Lumpur, Johor Bahru and Penang. So, as we know, this three place is where foreigners comes and this is famous all around the world about Malaysia. So the rural areas is beside that or vice versa. This is the town place or an areas with a low development process. So what is location? So when the location is in urban areas, the demand for the property or houses will increase. So why is increase? Because this is has stated by research. It has stated that is easy access to city amenities, public transportation and workplace. Also, the workplace. Why is the workplace? So people tend to make higher salaries or higher income. As we know, the first one, with higher income is increasing the power of purchasing a property or house. So people must want to purchase a property or a house. So they will move from their rural areas or their town to the urban areas, which is Kuala Lumpur, Johor Bahru, as I said just now, to for purpose in finding better opportunities for employment, which is with a good salaries. Also, as we know, the cost of life in nowadays is a little bit higher, so people tend to make more income to support their living costs. So that's why people will go to the urban areas, which is where there's more transaction and there's more business or there's more works in the works opportunities. So with that, the demand for houses or property will be higher. So how do I know the price of property or houses in urban areas is higher? So I have made research and this is the data about how the price is increasing from year to year in the urban areas. So hello, as we have come to the final point, which is the last factors in influence in demand for houses in Malaysia. So the last factors I will talk about population growth. So what's the relationship about population growth and demand for houses? So it's natural for an individual or for a family tend to need a house to live in, which means they want to live in comfortable life, so they will buy a house. Because of that, the relationship between population and demands is the same as the income, which is increasing in population will increasing in demands. So in Malaysia, as we know, there's a lot of people, which means from year to year, population in Malaysia or the citizen of Malaysia will increasing. So this is the data in the total population in Malaysia. So apart from that, we also heard about the news lately that talk about immigrations or the foreigners that come to Malaysia and want to buy a property of Malaysia. And in the law of Malaysia, only property above 1 million ringgit can be bought by foreigners. So there's more cases about foreigners who buy houses in Malaysia, and there's more house in Malaysia that have been bought by people from outside the countries. As I have explained to you, there's a lot of people moving from rural areas to the urban areas. So in the urban areas, they will pack, or they will have more people or more citizens that live in there, that works in the urban areas. So the demand for the properties in the urban areas will be higher. So the price of the property will also increase. So that's all for me. We'll move to the next chapter, or the next point, which is the impacts of the factors, which is will be speech by Japan. Okay, thank you.
So, for my part, I will continue with impact for demand houses Malaysia. There are few impact when demand for houses Malaysia increase. For example, when demand housing increase, property price also may increase, making houses less affordable for a potential buyer. However, rising property price also benefit to property owner and can lead to higher capital gains. In addition, the increase in housing demand can also stimulate to the construct industry. This create employment opportunity, contribute to economic growth, and reduce unemployment rate. So, for the last part is, COVID-19 also play a significant role in housing demand in Malaysia. Did you know, in 2009, Malaysia economy was severely affected by COVID, resulting in implement of the Movement Control Order, or MCO, to curb the spread of the virus. Approximately 33,000 properties remain unsold for more than 6 months, particularly price house that time between 2,000 ringgit and 300,000 ringgit. This also failed to meet market demand due as their location, lack connectivity, and public transportation. This property also far from a city center, making them less attractive to potential buyer.
So the next part is government policy. What is government policy? Government policy is implemented to improve a system or to create a starting point for better change. It is where the government takes action to address any relevant real-world problems to solve any related issue that being carried out in hope to give a positive outcome. As far as we know, in 2019 until 2022, we are in the COVID-19 pandemic phase. This could affect a bad economic growth due to the loss of a job and brings financial hardship. The government has implemented various policies to support housing market, including provision of affordable housing and incentive for home buyers. The government have a special focus on the affordable house price below 3,100 ringgit will be built for B40 and M40 under the National Housing Policy 2.0 program. Firstly, skim Rumah Pertamaku was announced. The scheme allow first-time buyers securing a full loan of the property house, means they no need to pay a down payment of the house. Next, fiscal policy means by which government adjusts its spending levels to influence economic growth. After all, the involvement of the government with this incentive will help the citizens afford to buy a house.
Factors identified are fundamental determinants of housing demand, purchasing power of prospective home buyers, allowing them to purchase better and desire to improve living standards, comfort and privacy. Based on the several findings, the results are revealed that house price in the most important consideration for home ownership. Preference followed by safety and security and public facilities. Other than hand, studies have shown that house price has been the major concern among households, especially for those living in major cities. Furthermore, study of these factors is particularly important to understand their consideration criteria when buying a house. With the continuous increase in living cost and property price, home buyers, especially the first timer, will face a huge challenge to buy a house in today's market, mainly due to urgency of supply or oriented initiative in short and medium run in Malaysia. Yeah, we have reached the end of the discussion. Last but not least, more housing projects are still in need, not only for low-income population, but also make the house accessible for the middle-income household. The approach would help to reduce the home ownership problems and eventually will fulfill the need for affordable homes of the targeted group. This finding also may not comprehensive enough to cover all range of middle-income group in Malaysia. Finally, future research is needed to consider a large number of respondents to achieve a greater accuracy in the research project. That's all for me.
A few moments later.
Okay. Oh, I see. Now we all know this topic is very important and interesting for me and you guys. And the factory influence demand in Malaysia is very important for us. And we know there's Hafiz about the topic with this discussion now.
As I say, this topic is really interesting, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
But I feel so hungry.
Oh,
Let's go to cafe nearby.
yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go.